Hello, welcome to VMCFA, Vivian's Mass Communication Final Assignment. I'm your host, JD, and we are going to get into the media of Vietnam. First, let me tell you a little bit about this country and its history. Vietnam is a Southeast Asian country located in the South Sea of China. Vietnam gained independence from the French in 1954 and has since been their own independent country. With a population of just over 95 million, it's the 14th most populated country in the world, known for pristine beaches with over 1,900 miles of coastline, rivers, Buddhist pagodas, bustling cities, diverse culture, and historic sites. Vietnam's tourism industry continues to be ranked amongst the fastest growing tourist destinations in the world, making over $26 billion in revenue for the year of 2018 and more than $21 billion in 2017. That's an increase of $5 billion. Their main language is Vietnamese, which I speak. In Vietnam, their average income per month is 3.2 Vietnamese dong. That's about $137.85. And that's US dollars, not dongs. Crazy, huh? According to Vietnam Online, the top professions that pay the highest salaries are medical and healthcare, banking, and pharmacy, while some other jobs, such as textile and the food industry, pay laborers from $107 to $133 a month. Vietnam is a beautiful country with a rich history. However, there is still a dark side. Vietnam is a communist country, and no one can own land, and rights for real estate are very limited, meaning everything is leased. So all of the radio and TV stations in Vietnam are owned by the government. Everything is state-run in this country, including TV channels and newspapers. The main distributor of media is VTV, Vietnamese television, which runs 24/7. Newspapers have a little bit more freedom since they are more local, but they are still heavily controlled. There's also internet in Vietnam, but even the usage is being monitored, and those that break the rules may be arrested. An example of government control and censorship in the media would be Paris by Night. Here we have Ren, a Vietnamese American who knows the story behind Paris by Night. Paris by Night is an American-owned Vietnamese entertainment group that had issues with the Vietnamese government.
Paris by Night was created in 1983 and currently has 127 shows in VHS and currently DVDs. The company is considered to be an overseas company because it's based in the US, which means that they cannot sell the DVDs in Vietnam. The reason is most of Paris by Night content talks about the Vietnam War, American dreams, in short, ideals that do not align with the Vietnamese socialist government. However, the show did reach over to Vietnam due to the black market and torrenting, which resulted in profit loss for the company. This in turn made the company lose its usual venue of performance. That is why nowadays, Paris by Night entertainers only perform at casinos. Not only are they more mobile now, they can reach more American Vietnamese people.
Even the internet usage is being monitored, and those that break the rules may be arrested. 64 million Vietnamese are online, according to the new 2018 Global Digital Suite of reports from We Are Social and Hootsuite. Vietnam's average broadband speed was recorded 10 times lower than their Southeast Asian neighbor Singapore. However, the country still managed to pass over 6 other countries in the region, ranking 74th out of 189 countries. Before comparison, to download an HD movie of 7.5 gigabytes in size would take 18 minutes and 34 seconds in Singapore, while it would take over 3 hours in Vietnam. Social media is still popular in Vietnam, just like the rest of the world, such as Facebook and other social websites. However, internet censorship in Vietnam prevents access to websites critical of the Vietnamese government. Social media is still popular in Vietnam, just like the rest of the world, such as Facebook and other social websites. However, internet censorship in Vietnam prevents access to websites critical of the Vietnamese government, opposing political parties, and international human rights organizations, among others. Amnesty International reported many instances of internet activists being arrested for their online activities. For example, the past few years, at least 10 U.S. citizens were arrested and prevented from leaving the country. Vietnamese local blogger Lee Hanh Ung was arrested for abusing democratic freedom after publishing about the government's new policy on economic zones, which was his own opinion on the new policy. And because of that, he was sentenced to 7 years in prison. Even though Vietnamese media is heavily controlled by their government, their taxes throughout the whole process through required permits and their value-added tax. This serves as another way the government may exercise control over the media. The Communist Party is trying to push forward more legislation that will enable them to tax Facebook and other social media sites that advertise in their country. There are other forms of media and entertainment in Vietnam as well. There are a total of 14 movie theater companies in Vietnam, like Galaxy Cinema and BHD. Vietnam's cinema industry is blossoming, with locals willing to pay more for entertainment activities that were once considered luxurious. It's now a very popular option to spend their free time. Just this alone sparked an attraction to foreign investors from Korea and Indonesia to bring in their own movie theater companies into the country, such as popular Korean company Lotte. However, there are still restrictions on what may be shown. Vietnam is a beautiful country with a lot to offer. However, it is still controlled by a communist government, which limits what the country may do. To conclude what we've discussed, we've talked a little bit about Vietnam's population, economy, and geography. Most importantly, we've talked about their media and the censorship around it. This country is not free. As mentioned earlier, the local Vietnamese blogger Lee Hanh Ung was arrested just for posting his opinion and sentenced to 7 years in prison. This is still a beautiful country though, and maybe we may all have a chance to visit it. Thank you for listening, and I'm glad you were able to learn about the Vietnamese media with me. My name is JD, and this was Vivian's Mass Communication final assignment. Thank you.